The immigration advocacy group FIEL says ICE is conducting raids at the federal courthouse in downtown Houston.
A new video shows distraught family members exiting the courthouse while sharing with us their loved one had been detained.
A sitting federal judge, a private wine cellar, and a reinforced concrete door that shouldn't exist. When the FBI cracked the floorboards, they didn't just find a hidden room, they found the blueprint for how the Sinaloa cartel literally bought the American judicial system. Imagine you're a federal agent standing in the basement of a high-ranking official. You're holding a ground-penetrating radar, and the screen just pinged. 11 feet down, through the dirt and the bedrock, there's something solid. It's not a pipe, it's not a sewer line, it's a room. Reinforced concrete, ventilation shafts, and a heavy steel door with freshly oiled hinges. And here's the kicker. That door opens directly beneath the private wine cellar of a sitting federal district judge. When Special Agent Dara Okonkwo pulled off her headset and whispered 3 words into her radio, "We've got it." She thought she was ending a 14-month investigation. She was wrong. What they found on the other side of that door didn't just close a case. It rewrote everything the Department of Justice thought it knew about how the Sinaloa cartel operates inside the United States. We are talking about a shadow government operating right under our noses in Southeast Texas. Before we dive into the chilling details of Operation Iron Veil, do me a favor. If you believe transparency is the only way to fight corruption, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We're uncovering the stories the mainstream media often overlooks, and you won't want to miss part 2 of this investigation. To understand how a federal judge ends up with a cartel bunker in her basement, we have to go back 14 months. It started at 11:23 p.m. in the industrial corridor of the Port of Houston. A routine ICE surveillance unit flagged 3 refrigerated semi-trucks moving in a tight convoy. On paper, they had agricultural permits. They had inspection seals, but they were moving 12 minutes ahead of schedule. In the world of high-level smuggling, early is a red flag. It means someone cleared the path. Within 48 hours, analysts in DC realized this wasn't a one-off. This was a pattern spanning 11 months and 6 different Texas counties. It was the most protected distribution corridor ever built on American soil. The scale was staggering. 4.1 tons of narcotics had already moved through this route undetected. Over $60 million in cartel cash had been laundered through Houston real estate. But the biggest discovery was a single folder found on an encrypted burner phone. It was labeled Blueprint. Inside that folder was a federal government email address. Someone on the inside was talking. The mole hunt had begun. And trust me, what they found in the first 10 minutes of that investigation is going to haunt you. At 3:47 a.m. on a Tuesday, the silence of Houston was shattered. 6 locations, simultaneous strikes. FBI breach teams moved through the fog like ghosts. Flashbangs went off, doors splintered, and tactical units poured into sites across Harris County. At a warehouse near Pasadena, they found a cold storage facility that was actually a massive narcotics hub. The inventory? 2.8 tons of cocaine, 1.1 million fentanyl pills, 14 kilos of black tar heroin, and enough meth to keep the city of Houston supplied for half a year. But it was the armory that made the agents' blood run cold. They found 47 military-grade assault rifles, 12 RPGs, and body armor. Not just any body armor, these vests were stitched with Houston Police Department markings. While you digest that, if you're finding this breakdown eye-opening, go ahead and hit that like button. It helps the algorithm push this investigative work to more people. As the raids continued, agents at a converted auto shop off Highway 90 found a server rack with military-grade encryption. This wasn't cartel tech, it was government-grade. When cyber analysts finally cracked the outer layer, they found something that made them physically recoil from their desks. It was a financial architecture, a web of 14 shell companies fake construction firms, a restaurant chain, and 2 charitable foundations. All of them funneled money to one authorized signatory, the Honorable Isabella Renee Mercer. Judge Mercer had been on the bench for 15 years. She was appointed, she was confirmed, trusted. Yet, for the first time in 22 years of law enforcement, senior agent Marcus Telles saw a sitting judge's name on a cartel payment ledger. She was the node. She was the one killing warrants, dismissing cases at the motion stage before evidence could even be seen, and shielding cartel properties from seizure. But the blueprint file made one thing clear. Mercer wasn't the architect. She was just a piece of the puzzle. By noon, the scoreboard for Operation Iron Veil was massive. 340 arrests, 8.4 tons of drugs seized, and $67 million in assets frozen. But as a cartel logistics coordinator nicknamed Trez was being loaded into a van, he looked at the federal building and whispered, "You only got the bottom floor." He was right. The final layer of the server revealed a roster that looked like a who's who of Texas authority. 23 police officers, 7 border patrol agents, 4 sitting judges, 11 state legislators. All of them were receiving monthly consulting fees. The border patrol agents were logging false patrol data to create invisible windows for the convoys. The legislators were killing asset seizure reform bills in committee. It wasn't just a few bad apples. It was a parallel infrastructure that answered to the Sinaloa cartel instead of the US Constitution. And then, the name of the silent partner surfaced. Gordon Harwell Pace. Pace wasn't a cartel thug. He was a recently retired regional director for the district attorney's office. He was the man who signed off on the very credentials used to build the encryption. He had spent 11 years in a position where he saw every single interdiction plan before it even launched. He was arrested at a luxury golf resort in Scottsdale. He didn't say a word. Here is the most terrifying part of this entire story. Pace and Mercer didn't just infiltrate Houston, they franchised the model. Analysts found cloud partitions for Dallas, San Antonio, and New Orleans. Each city had its own blueprint. Same shell companies, same judicial access, same border patrol integration. They are already operational. They are moving product right now. Last year in Harris County alone, 2,400 people died of drug overdoses, 61% of them from fentanyl traced back to this exact network. These aren't just statistics. These are sons, daughters, and parents. One mother, who lost her 23-year-old son to a single pill, said it best: nobody stopped it from getting to him. When a trafficking survivor was rescued from a transit house in Galveston after 11 days of captivity, she didn't ask for food or a phone. She looked at the agents and asked one question: am I actually free? This isn't just a crime story. It's a warning. Power doesn't always use a gun. Sometimes it just uses a signature, a silent partner, and a judge willing to look the other way. If you've made it this far, you're paying attention to the things most people choose to ignore. Do me a favor, comment the word "expose" below if you want more of these investigations brought into the light. Share this video with someone who thinks corruption only happens somewhere else. The investigation into the other 3 cities, Dallas, San Antonio, and New Orleans, is even darker than this one. That story drops this Friday. Gordon Harwell Pace is already trying to cut a deal for immunity. We're tracking what he's offering the feds, and we'll have that for you in part 2. Subscribe so you don't miss it. I'm the Defense Inpost, and thanks for watching.